The tragedy of many lives is not that people don't have time, it's that they misunderstand time. The morning was never meant to be a moment on the clock. It was designed to be a sacred meeting between man and the divine, a divine checkpoint, a spiritual refueling station. Before the sun rises in the natural, heaven has already arranged appointments in the invisible. The morning is not a time on your alarm, it's a signal in your spirit. When God walked with Adam in the cool of the day, he was not just enjoying a stroll, he was setting a pattern for communion that would mark the rhythm of destiny. Morning devotion is not about religion, it's about reconnection. It is in the morning that the soul aligns with its mandate. You don't just wake up in the morning, you are summoned. Your eyes may open because of an alarm, but your spirit awakens because of a calling. Every great man or woman who walked in divine purpose understood that the morning hour is where clarity is born. This is not the hour to scroll through messages or replay yesterday's drama. This is the time to report to headquarters, to receive instructions from the King concerning your assignment on the earth. The air may be still, but heaven is busy. While others are yawning, the spiritually alert are downloading strategy. If you ignore this divine appointment, you may move through your day on your own strength, navigating chaos with no compass, reacting instead of ruling. Purpose doesn't wake up at 9 a.m. It stirs in the womb of morning silence. The morning is the incubation chamber of divine thoughts. It is where confusion meets clarity, where fear meets faith, where chaos meets order. The morning is where you reset your identity before the world tries to define you, before the boardroom tells you who you are. The prayer room reminds you whose you are. Morning devotion is not just a quiet time. It's a governmental session. When you engage the morning in devotion, you are not simply speaking, you are legislating. Your words in the spirit realm become decrees in the natural. In the morning, you don't just feel good. You establish dominion. You don't just recite prayers. You activate heaven's will on earth. If you understood what was at stake every morning, you would never miss the meeting. The devil doesn't fear your routine, but he trembles at your revelation. He's not worried about your alarm clock, but he is terrified when your spirit clock goes off and you report for duty. Those who govern their mornings govern their lives. Every moment of devotion is a seed, and the fruit shows up throughout the day. You don't rise with anxiety when you've already settled matters in the spirit. You don't walk into confusion when the voice of God has already spoken peace. You don't get surprised by opposition when you've already received divine foresight. The morning is your headquarters for victory. It's your war room, your wisdom chamber, your refueling zone. The strength to say no to distraction, the clarity to say yes to purpose. All of it is deposited in the morning. Some people treat devotion as an option, others treat it as oxygen. You can always tell who met with God by how they move through their day. The morning is not where you prepare to survive, it's where you posture to reign. When the day meets a man or woman who has already met with God, the day must bow. The environment responds to the one who has received orders from above. You're not reacting to circumstances. You're enforcing kingdom realities. You don't pray for the day. You command it. There is a vast difference between wishful communication with God and authoritative declaration from a citizen of the kingdom. Many rise in the morning with a mindset of pleading, begging, and hoping things will go well, but that is not how dominion operates. Prayer is not an emotional release. It is a legal transaction in the court of heaven. When you understand who you are and whose you are, you stop asking the day for permission and start telling it what to become. The early hours are not given to the fearful. They are entrusted to the faithful. This is the time when kings speak, when priests minister, and when ambassadors issue decrees backed by the full weight of the kingdom they represent. Your mouth is not for decoration. It is for legislation. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. And the first voice that should shape your day is yours, aligned with God's. When you command your morning, you are aligning the earth to the agenda of heaven. You are not reacting to what might happen. You are assigning what must happen. To pray is to authorize the will of God to manifest. When you speak with faith, you are not hoping, you are enforcing. That is why the enemy wants to keep you quiet in the morning. He wants you passive, sleepy, distracted, disconnected, scrolling through noise instead of opening your mouth to release purpose. Commanding the day is not arrogance, it is agreement. You are not commanding from your own agenda, you are standing on heaven's blueprint and calling it forth. Jesus said, "Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven," because authority is not initiated on earth, it is echoed. You don't invent the command, you declare it. The word of God in your mouth is the most powerful force on earth when it is spoken from a heart of alignment. You are not just a person starting a day, you are a co-creator stepping into your assignment. The earth is groaning, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. And sons don't whisper their purpose. They declare it boldly. Your morning command sets spiritual boundaries. You are telling the forces of darkness today, you will not steal my peace, you will not confuse my mind, you will not distract my path. You are announcing to your spirit, I will walk in wisdom, I will live with discipline, I will obey divine instruction. You are releasing over your home, your family, your business, your atmosphere, clarity, protection, strategy, favor, and divine encounters. The enemy does not fear your sleep, he fears your speech. That's why the moment you wake up, he tries to bombard your mind with fear, guilt, anxiety, and confusion. Because he knows that once you open your mouth with conviction, the atmosphere must respond. To command your day is to understand that you are the gatekeeper of time. You are not a slave to the calendar or a victim of schedule. You are a steward of destiny. When you wake up with spiritual authority, you don't step into your to-do list. You step into your throne. From that place, you don't merely hope your meetings go well. You declare that they align with divine timing. You don't wonder if you'll have clarity. You declare that the spirit of wisdom walks with you. You don't wait to feel peace. You proclaim that peace is the atmosphere where you dwell. This kind of life requires consistency, not emotionalism. You don't wait for inspiration, you take responsibility. You don't wait for the day to define you, you define the day. Many people start the day checking the news, but those who live in authority start by checking in with heaven. When your day begins with decrees, distractions lose their grip. When your day begins with declarations, discouragement loses its voice. You are not just setting intentions, you are planting spiritual pillars in time. Every morning is a gate, and your words are the key. What you say becomes what you see. God never created you to begin your day without Him. From the foundation of creation, relationship was always the priority, not religion, not ritual, relationship. God formed man from the dust, but man didn't become a living soul until God breathed into him. That means life began not with action, but with connection. The first thing Adam experienced was not responsibility. It was the presence of God. That's the divine order. You were never designed to function without presence. When you attempt to step into the day without communion, you step into a battlefield without armor, into business without strategy, into noise without discernment. Every moment away from His voice invites another voice to take its place. The absence of devotion is not neutral. It is an open door. Many people treat devotion as optional because they confuse business with purpose. But activity without alignment is just exhaustion. It's possible to move fast and still go nowhere. It's possible to be surrounded by people and still be spiritually dry. You were never created to wake up and run. You were created to wake up and receive. God never asked you to start the day in your own strength. In fact, the only strength that lasts is the one that flows from divine connection. You don't start your day to survive, you start it to submit. Submission is not weakness. It is positioning. The one who bows first stands tallest. The one who listens first speaks with the most authority. The one who seeks first walks in the greatest clarity. There is a reason the enemy targets your mornings. It's not because the morning is more holy than any other time. It's because beginnings set direction. The first voice you hear often becomes the loudest voice of the day. The first thought you meditate on becomes the lens through which you interpret everything else. When you ignore God in the morning, you don't just miss a moment. You misalign your mission. You cannot carry peace into a day you began in confusion. You cannot carry clarity into a day you began with noise. God does not just want to meet you at church. He wants to walk with you in the cool of the morning, when no one else is around, when your mind is most alert, when your heart is still tender. Before the weight of the day tries to harden it, to begin the day without God is to declare that you are sufficient on your own. But the truth is, apart from Him, you can do nothing of eternal value. Without Him, you can build platforms but not purpose. You can gain followers but not fruit. You can impress others but not impact heaven. Your effectiveness is not measured by productivity. It's measured by alignment. And alignment begins in the morning, when you quiet your soul and listen again to the one who called you by name. He doesn't just want to give you peace. He wants to be your peace. He doesn't just want to guide your decisions. He wants to shape your desires. He doesn't just want to bless your plans. He wants to birth them. God's original design was never for you to start your day scrolling through noise or rushing into motion. The first agenda of heaven is always fellowship. It is in that fellowship that your spirit is recalibrated, your identity is reaffirmed, and your purpose is reignited. If you go into the day without Him, you may still function, but you will not fulfill. You may still achieve, but you won't advance. Morning devotion is not a spiritual accessory, it's a lifeline. You were built for presence. And presence is not a feeling, it's a place. It's the place where confusion dies, where lies are exposed, where identity is restored, and where strength is transferred. You were never created to live from Sunday to Sunday, or from crisis to crisis. You were created to live from presence to presence, from revelation to revelation. From glory to glory. Devotion repositions your mind from survival to dominion. There is a difference between living and ruling, between making it through the day and mastering the day. Survival is the mindset of those disconnected from their source. Dominion is the mindset of those aligned with their original mandate. When man fell, he lost not just relationship but rulership. He went from walking in authority to crawling in anxiety. He started reacting to the earth instead of governing it. And that same pattern continues today. Many wake up each morning hoping to cope when they were created to conquer. Morning devotion is not a retreat from reality. It is a return to original design. You were never meant to live life from a place of pressure. You were created to live life from a place of power. That power is not found in how much you know, how hard you work, or how fast you move. That power flows from presence. Devotion is not a duty, it's a recalibration. It is the place where your mind is renewed, where your posture is realigned, and where your spiritual authority is activated. Without devotion, you think like a victim. In devotion, you remember you are a victor. Without devotion, you chase peace. In devotion, you carry peace. The mindset you walk out of devotion with will determine how you interpret every challenge, every conversation, and every opportunity. Survival says, I hope I make it through this. Dominion says, I was born to reign through this. The difference is not in your personality. It's in your proximity to the voice of God. When your day begins in communion, your thoughts are no longer ruled by the news, by your bank account, or by your emotional highs and lows. Your thoughts are ruled by truth, and truth doesn't adjust to circumstances. Circumstances bow to truth. Devotion gives you perspective. It reminds you that your identity is not rooted in your job, your schedule, or your performance. It is rooted in Christ. From that place, you stop begging for strength and start walking in authority. Most people are trained to think reactively. If something bad happens, they respond. If stress shows up, they panic. If pressure comes, they collapse. But Dominion doesn't live like that. Dominion thinks differently. Dominion doesn't wait for crisis to connect with God. It doesn't wait for confusion to seek wisdom. Dominion is proactive, not reactive. And that is what morning devotion does. It shifts your internal posture before external pressure ever arrives. It doesn't make you immune to trials, but it ensures trials don't make you forget who you are. The one who has met with God is not easily shaken. The one who has heard his voice is not easily deceived. The one who has received instruction does not wander through the day guessing what to do next. Devotion detoxes your mind from fear. It purges the noise of culture, the anxiety of deadlines, the distractions of performance, and replaces them with the stillness of peace and the clarity of purpose. In that place of intimacy, your thoughts are elevated. You stop thinking like someone trying to survive in a fallen world, and you start thinking like a son or daughter sent to restore it. The world doesn't need more Christians who are just trying to get by. It needs kingdom-minded believers who wake up each day ready to invade darkness with light, confusion with wisdom, weakness with power. That readiness begins in devotion. The difference between those who dominate life and those who are dominated by it is not luck, talent, or opportunity, it's posture. Devotion is how you posture your heart, your mind, and your spirit before you engage the world. When you take time to meet with God, you receive divine downloads that the natural mind cannot comprehend. You walk out with solutions the world didn't give and can't take away. You stop looking at obstacles through the lens of limitation and start seeing them as platforms for demonstration. Devotion doesn't just fill you up, it lifts you up. It pulls your thinking out of the pit of worry and places it on the throne of wisdom. It reminds you that you were not sent to survive in the system. You were sent to influence it, to reform it, to rule in the midst of it. The secret place is the real source of public power. What is seen in the light always begins in the shadows. The strength people admire is often born in the solitude no one notices. True authority is not built on platforms but in private. It's not in how loud you can speak in front of people. It's in how clearly you can hear when no one else is around. The most powerful individuals are not those who appear strong. They are those who are deeply rooted in the place of intimacy. They know the secret place, and the secret place knows them. They do not draw from personality, charisma, or human energy. They draw from presence. And presence is not a performance. It is a dwelling. You can fake giftedness, but you cannot fake glory. You can mimic movements, but you cannot manufacture oil. The secret place is not a location. It's a lifestyle. It is where the soul returns to its source. It is where ego dies and spirit lives. It is the place where ambition is exchanged for assignment, where noise is silenced and revelation begins to speak. Many want influence, but few are willing to be hidden. Many want to be used by God, but they don't want to be separated unto Him. You cannot walk in power if you are addicted to being seen. The ones who shake nations are often the ones who have first been shaken in silence. God always breaks you in the back room before He ever builds you on the stage. What He does in private determines what you can carry in public. Jesus Himself withdrew to lonely places, not because He was escaping, but because He was aligning. His miracles were not a result of just compassion. They were a result of connection. Before He multiplied bread, He broke away to pray. Before He raised Lazarus, He had already been in communion with the Father. Before He walked on water, He spent hours alone on the mountain. What looked like effortless power was actually rooted in disciplined devotion. And if the Son of God needed the secret place, how much more do we? This is not legalism, this is alignment. It is not religion, it is relationship. You cannot walk in sustained anointing without sustained connection. Many desire breakthrough but reject consecration. They want doors to open but will not stay long enough in the secret place to receive the keys. The world teaches visibility as success, but the kingdom teaches intimacy as power. You don't get mantles from men. You receive them in the presence of God. It's in the secret place that your identity is forged, your authority is stamped, your message is refined, and your power is born. If you skip that place, you might still be gifted, but you will be empty. You might still be impressive, but you will be ineffective. The oil is costly because it is pressed in secret. There are no shortcuts to spiritual authority. Heaven does not anoint noise. It anoints nearness. What happens in secret determines what will last in public. If you have no altar in private, you have no fire in public. If you don't bleed in the prayer closet, you won't roar on the battlefield. The giants you face in life are not defeated with motivation. They're defeated with revelation. And revelation comes from one place only: time with the King. The secret place is not where you escape reality. It's where you're equipped to transform it. You don't go there to hide from the world. You go there to rule over it. The authority to speak, to lead, to shift atmospheres, to discern spirits, to cast out demons, to build with wisdom. All of it is born in the hidden place with God. Public applause is fleeting, but private oil is eternal. The world may never see the tears you cried, the prayers you whispered, the hours you spent in silence before Him. But they will see the fruit, and that fruit will testify, not of your greatness, but of your intimacy, not of your effort, but of your surrender. In a world addicted to speed, God still honors stillness. In a generation chasing influence, heaven is looking for intimacy. The ones who change the world are the ones who have first been changed in the secret place. They don't visit it occasionally, they live from it continually. Because they understand that what happens in secret will eventually shape everything that is seen. Your morning determines your momentum. Every day is not just a date on a calendar. It is a gate in the spirit, and how you enter determines how you move. Momentum is not magic. It is the product of intentional spiritual posture. The moment you open your eyes, you are not just waking up physically. You are stepping into a realm of movement. And if you don't take control of that first moment, something else will. The way you begin a thing sets the pattern for how you experience it. If you wake up distracted, you drift. If you wake up heavy, you drag. If you wake up aligned, you advance. Morning devotion is not just about connection. It is about acceleration. Momentum is the invisible force that pushes you forward even when resistance rises. But it is not automatic, it must be built. And the construction site is your morning altar. What you invest in those first moments either fuels your purpose or fragments your focus. People who build spiritual momentum are not necessarily more gifted. They are simply more disciplined in the unseen. While others are chasing feelings, they are forging foundations. Before they step into meetings, decisions, or challenges, they have already aligned their inner world. They don't hope for direction. They hear it. They don't chase peace. They carry it. Their progress is not the result of luck. It is the overflow of alignment. Momentum is spiritual before it becomes practical. What moves you is not outside. It is what happens within. When you start your day in the Word, in worship, in prayer, in the presence of God, you are doing more than checking a box. You are igniting a fire. You are stirring your spirit to remember who you are and what you're here to do. You are stepping out of emotion and into authority. You are setting the rhythm of your day, not by what's urgent, but by what's eternal. The one who owns the morning owns the day. The one who commands the dawn commands the flow. Momentum is not speed, it's sustained, intentional movement fueled by spiritual clarity. The enemy doesn't always attack with crisis. Sometimes he just attacks your rhythm. Because he knows if he can delay your start, he can disrupt your strength. If he can crowd your first hour, he can confuse your focus. The devil doesn't fear your business, he fears your stillness before God. That's where momentum is born. Not in doing more, but in doing first things right. The morning is the garden where the seeds of strategy, endurance, and confidence are planted. Once those seeds take root, even adversity can't stop you. You may feel resistance, but you won't be shaken. You may encounter delays, but you won't be deterred. Because you're not moving in your own energy. You're moving in spiritual propulsion. When you start in devotion, you engage the principle of first, and what you give God first, He blesses the rest. Your time, your thoughts, your emotions, when they are yielded early, they become tools for impact. But when they are ignored, they become openings for confusion. Starting with God is not just wise, it's war. It's how you take ground in the Spirit before the world has a chance to define your day. It's how you resist anxiety before it finds a foothold. It's how you carry momentum not just for one day, but for every assignment tied to your calling. Momentum is not reserved for the few. It's available to all who start from the secret place and move with kingdom purpose. The ones who seem to flow effortlessly through challenges are not always the strongest. They are often the most aligned. They've learned that morning devotion is not a pause. It's a launch. It's where they set their mind on things above, where they put on the full armor, where they receive divine instructions. That divine rhythm becomes their unseen advantage. They are not rushed by time because they are rooted in eternity. They don't waste energy reacting to everything because they've already received clarity on what really matters. Their pace is not determined by pressure, it's determined by presence. And that pace becomes momentum that carries them through valleys, over mountains, and into doors no man can shut.